The last part of this conversation is where he actually does accuse Anna Burns Francis of being racist. It slides through. It's like a quick comment, but it's absolutely what he says. Something like your racist thoughts or your racist beliefs. So he's talking to a TVNZ journalist, which is part of the public, the public broadcasting in New Zealand as close as we've got to it. And he accuses her of being racist.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure if we clarified if you would repeat the use of the phrase comparing New Zealand's previous governments to Nazi Germany, but will you at least stop using the song, or are you going to use Chumbawamba's song again?
I'm not backing down to your shill lefty bias.
It was just a question.
The Crushing Pinko view that you've got, that you can get away with this racism. I despise racism.
No, it's a question asking if you would repeat the phrase that you have already chosen to use. You used the phrase, would you use it again?
It's relatively obvious to you, even though you're sort of found out by your own noise and the noise of your colleagues, that I'm not going to back down. Yes, I will repeat it because it's the truth. This sort of superior belief that because I've got my DNA superior to you is repugnant.
I mean, to be honest with you, I've been thinking about this the last couple of days. We've contacted Brooke Van Velden. We've contacted David Seymour. They won't talk to us. And I just had this thought today. If I was in a conversation with Winston Peters on this platform and he spoke like that, I'd be like, fuck you. What the fuck are you talking about, you old cunt? Just get off your high horse. It's like, it feels like that's the correct response. Like, I don't kind of speak like that in real life very much, but that feels like that's the correct, the way he just spoke to her, talking about your racist views. And I'd be like, it kind of feels like, stop talking to him. Like, honestly, you have a privilege to be on that show doing that thing. Cut him off. Like, just cut him off.
This goes back to my earlier point just about how unhinged he has become in the last 72 hours since this speech.
Yeah.
And it's on purpose. This is he is throwing out such abusive terms. I mean, Pinko. We haven't heard Pinko since the 80s, for God's sakes, right? Yeah. And here he is, it's just Pinko. Off he goes. I think that, I think we're in trouble economically. I think each of the political sides are going to be firing up their base because all they've got are culture war, revenge fantasies, and anger and resentment to sell. I don't think they've got a hell of a lot they're going to be able to do that's going to make anyone feel economically secure.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to trade on this shit. And Winston's smart enough to know that. And he's just going to, every week, there'll be him doing this. And then next week it'll be, David Seymour wanting AK-47s and creches. It'll just be, and you're just going, oh, you can. The thing is, each week we turn from one thing and go, oh my God, that's such a bad and terrible and counterproductive and stupid idea. And then the next week there's another one. And you go, oh my God, this is even worse than that one. And then you go back to the, and it's just, and they just keep rolling it out. And this is why, and for everyone who's watching and paying attention and just feeling hurt and pain in their soul and in their gut, this feeling right here that you're feeling, this horrible, horrible sense of horror, this is the feeling you got to hold on to, because this is why it's important to vote. This is why it's important to get every single one of your friends out to the ballot box. This is why you've got to get all of the whānau and all of the friends and pull in as many people, because this feeling right now that you're feeling at all of this terrible stuff that's happening, this is what happens when we don't coordinate and vote together collectively. This is the lesson to learn right now.
Because if the left vote, we all know.
Yeah, left wins.